Hello, everybody. Welcome to Detox, the design podcast. This is your host, Sanjay Reddy. This episode is yet another success story, and I'm happy to present this episode to you because this is yet again a student of ours who secured an All India rank 13 in NID Bachelor's 2020. Now, she is amazingly talented and insanely skilled. Her name is Samriddhi Uniyal, and she shares her story, her preparation strategy, what worked for her, what did not work for her, what are the things that she did wrong in the exam, and what are the things that a design aspirant should keep in mind while preparing for the design entrance exams. So let's hear it from her.
Hi Samriddhi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. How have you been? It's been a while since we've had a conversation, right?
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, like just fine, coping up. Yeah.
I'm sure you have a lot of things to tell me about how your NID is going. Your experience is, I think it's just been a couple of weeks that you've started.
2 weeks. Yeah, it was really good. First of all, I'll be brutally honest. I did not expect such amount of work in the first week, but it is fun. It is fun at the same time. It is a bit challenging, but I'm really happy. I'm happy that I'm in NID. Yeah, that's all I would say.
I
Yeah.
know. I remember your work, and honestly, I think I've not told you this before, but this is a point where I can tell you what I was thinking when I was looking at your work before
Okay.
you even cleared the exam and all of those things. So when I first looked at your work and the kind of work that you were, the solutions that you were coming up with, or even your portfolio for that matter,
Yeah.
I genuinely thought, okay, here is a candidate who can definitely make it, and I thought it would be in the top 15 for sure. Pretty much there because you were ranked 13 in NID bachelor's, and the variety that you have in your in your portfolio, different mediums, different not only paintings and illustrations, yes, and big scale portraits also.
That's the best part. You really get the flow going if you make something really big, right?
Yeah.
So then drawing in a smaller medium is easier if you know how to do it in like a bigger medium.
Yeah,
That's
that's very true. So let me take you back a little, and I want to ask how this thought of getting into NID first got into your mind. Like, when did that happen?
okay. So I will tell you, I was really sure about my career when I was in 11th. I was good at art since the start, I guess, because I really liked drawing and stuff since childhood. So in 11th, gave it a thought. I wanted to be an artist at a point, but then I considered that I don't want to die a hungry artist. Like it is a phrase, right? So I figured out my interests there, and then I figured that I want to get into an ID and do design.
Mhm.
So that's how it started. I searched upon the internet and yeah.
So, was it all by your own research, or did somebody tell you, okay, there is something called NID and you should definitely go for it?
My dad's friends, they I guess told him that you should ask her to figure out how to get into NID. It's a really good
Wow.
college. And my dad's friend lives in Ahmedabad. He's my dad's best friend. So he knew a lot about it. So that's how. Yeah.
That's how incredible that is. I mean, I've had not known about NID until 2015.
How come?
And I didn't know about NID until 2015 because I was into engineering and I didn't know how. I knew about CEED, but NID only got to know in 2015. And I said, okay, I think I should give it a try
Yeah.
because it is something that is, very interesting and all of those things. But your dad and your dad's friends telling you about NID, that is something very rare
That's
that
pretty
happens.
awesome.
Yeah, I know. That's very rare because parents these days and general population of India, they don't know much about design. they usually do not consider your sketching could be more than just a hobby. So that is incredible. So what happened after that? Like, you came to know about NID, and how did you start the preparation for that?
Okay, so at first everyone was so hyped about it. It was like it is really tough to get into NID. It's like really tough. So I had made up my mind since the start, and even my dad has this way of expressing. He was the one actually who kept on motivating me throughout. So I would say that I do have a little bit of inferiority complex at times. So there were a lot of times when that happened. But then I started sketching every day. Like the first thing in my mind was that I first have to be thorough with my sketching skills, because that is the way I can express my ideas. Because if you can think and you can't express them, no point, right?
Yeah.
So I started sketching every day, every single day. I wanted to get better and better, like even better, to a point that I can be satisfied that, yeah, I'm ready to give the exam. So I first of all got thorough with the CAD part, and then I went towards the GAD part, and then I started with GK. So that's how it happened.
When you said you started sketching every day, what did you sketch? Like, how did you practice?
Live sketching every time. I will tell you that I was at school, but I was not studying. I was sketching all the time because boards were a secondary thing for me, right? So I was always sketching in class. Every friend of mine has at least one portrait with them that I have. So I really love drawing faces, right? So I drew everyone I could get. Like I drew my teacher's portrait, I drew my friend's portrait, and then I would sit at the ground and I would draw buses and trees and plants, things like that. So that's how.
And if I have to ask you, how much time did you spend sketching every day? What would that be?
5 hours, yeah, I would say 5 hours.
That's great.
Including the 2 hours in the evenings that I used to go out in the park and sketch.
So live sketching, that's a very good exercise. And even when I was preparing for NID, I think I also focused on live sketching a lot because you get a hold of a lot of things, scale, proportion, and etc. etc. So we will not go in detail into that, but this is about how you actually made it to NID, because I mean you are rank 13, and I would definitely want the listeners of this podcast to get to know, let's say, the tricks and tips up your sleeve. So how did you manage preparation and your board examinations? How did you do that?
Okay, so I did not focus much on boards because
Okay.
it does not matter, right? If I have my mindset that I want to do designing, so I did not focus much. So what I did was that even in school, I used to just listen in class, and at home I used to prepare for NID only. So, but that was the case because I was in humanities. But if for the people who are in science, they might need to work harder towards the board.
Yeah.
There was 1 month left for my boards exam, so I just put in all my effort and I worked really hard, and I managed to secure 94.5 in boards as well. So I think it would work for everyone else as well. Yeah.
That's crazy. 94 in boards and rank 13 in this NID, and then NIFT also you have like a really good rank, I do believe.
Yeah, 51.
51. So you pretty much nailed everything,
I guess.
That's pretty good. Yeah. So about the exams, there's NIFT, there's NID.
Yeah.
So was your preparation strategy different for these exams, or was it same?
I would say it was same because my first priority was NID only. So I was preparing for NID, but NIFTs and UCEED, I was just attempting. So my only strategy and preparation was towards NID and nothing extra for that matter.
Okay. So what were the topics that you particularly prepared for during your preparation?
The most important study material, I guess, was the previous year papers. So I would do previous year papers because that would give me the perfect idea that what is about to come, because no point in going through every book, right, that you find in the market. So I would, as I said, I was focusing on sketching. This is a bit off topic, but I started watching these small animation films on YouTube, right, in my free time. So that would also expand the creative process even more. So I think that's all I did. It was a pretty fun preparation, but it worked.
And I do agree with the animation part of it, because even now, when I'm working, when I'm making something, I have an anime series going on the side, and
Yeah.
then I do that. So I can understand why you say that. Looking at your portfolio, the kind of work that you've done, so did you make it a point to experiment or explore rather every medium? So you explored these mediums when you were in 11th or 12th?
I was working with these mediums since I was in 8th or 9th. So I was working with earthenware clay and stuff because I had really good teachers, fine arts teachers in my school. So they would always suggest me and help me with these kind of stuff. So they were the ones who encouraged me that you have to try this, you have to try this. And then, so that's how it started. My teachers pushed me and then it started. So I'm thankful to them.
That's really great, because it is often a very difficult task in the exam when you have to, sketch it on an A4, which maybe you have to sketch it in a frame, and then students find it really difficult to sketch it in that frame. I mean, the whole composition, the understanding of, arrangement of these elements, I think all of these things, you really had a good foundation for that by doing all of these, large scale and varied sizes and mediums and all of those things.
Right. And one more thing that's really important in my opinion is time management. So because I've been doing these artworks and sculptures and stuff since a long time, so time management wasn't that difficult for me. But then a lot of my friends, they were like they couldn't complete the paper. So I guess it is the most important thing is to be thorough with the sketching skills, like to complete everything quickly.
So talk about time management. Let me give you a scenario. Okay. Let's say you are in the exam, and if you were to just sketch a situation, okay, you have to visualize and sketch a situation. How much time would you spend on that?
If I have to visualize everything.
Yeah, everything. Let's say you're in a supermarket, you've gone to buy some vegetables and so on. And then there you have some hypothetical situation going on every time and you're attempting questions at NID. So how much time would you take?
Yeah, so like just now as you were saying, I was imagining in my head that how it would look. So when I would read the question, I would imagine the picture in my mind. Then I would imagine how dynamic it could be. Then I would start drawing. So it would take, if it is would say 8 marker or 10 marker, I would complete it in 30 minutes. I guess that's enough.
Okay, so 30 minutes. How do you dedicate that time?
I would just read the question, imagine what I got to draw, and then start with one small object, then build around it. I don't picture everything, place everything, and then do. I just start drawing and then I keep building up the scene, and then it gets better somehow. That's my strategy.
Okay. And what are the key things that you make sure that are there in the sketch?
First thing, perspective. If you put a really dramatic perspective, it is somehow very amusing to watch, right? So a dramatic perspective, something that would narrate a story that what is going on in the picture, not just a plain market scene, right? A story, probably a dog chasing a fruit that is on the road, something like that. A story that would be visible to the viewer and good sketching skills. These 3 things are really important.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Did you face any difficulty completing the whole paper in time? Were you able to finish it before, or you finished it with the time? Like
I finished it like 5 minutes before. It was a lengthy paper. I wouldn't lie. It was a really lengthy paper, but I was able to figure out how to manage time and stuff. I think I could have been a little bit faster if I didn't waste my time in a 5 marker question. So I would have known that question. It was a cube one in the creative part. I wasted a lot of time in that question. Like I erased and then drew again. So that is what I mistake.
It's time for a short break. This episode is brought to you by Designex Studio. If you are a student appearing for design entrance examinations like UCEED, CEED, NID, and NIFT, if you want to pursue bachelor's or master's in design from one of these top institutions, Designex Studio provides online mentoring programs where experts from the industry come and teach. Now, these experts have cleared these exams with top ranks and have graduated from some of the premier institutions in India and abroad. Feel free to check out their courses on online.designexstudio.com or reach out to them on Instagram. Feel free to check out their content on YouTube and on Instagram. They regularly post their questions on Instagram, which you can take advantage of. They also have launched a free weekly tests. Anybody, any student preparing for these exams can register and take the test free of cost. I'd like to take this moment to give a huge shout out to Designex Studio. Without them, this episode wouldn't be possible. Let's get back to our episode.
Okay. So when we're talking about this exam, I want to know the things that you did wrong during the exam or during the exam preparation, which you think you shouldn't have done.
Okay. So one thing is that don't procrastinate. Just start working right now. There's nothing like bahut time bacha hai. There is always scope for improvement. There is no particular preparation that you have to complete and then you're set for an ending. There's nothing like that. If you keep on practicing, so even if there is like 6 months, 7 months, 8 months left, just start sketching like the exam is 10 days after today. So one mistake that I did while attempting the paper was one of that cube question. I just read the question. I didn't focus properly because it was a mixture of GAT and GAT, I would say. So I just read the question and started attempting. I just drew the lines with a 8B, I guess.
Wow.
So it was so hard. It was so hard to erase. And I think you should read the question properly in all your senses and not get distracted by anything. Go through all the questions. Don't read the whole paper so that you can figure out the answer to a particular question while you're doing some other question. So that really helps in time management. And one more thing would be that don't spend a lot of time in GAT part. If you don't know, just leave it, because that is another mistake I did. I spent a lot of time in one question in GAT part, so I could have saved it for the GAT part, which I ultimately did wrong. Yeah, that's it, I would say.
Okay. So you also had a task to finish before your interaction with the jury members, right? Before the interview, you had a task to complete. So that was something a little unique this time, because it was a little abstract in a way, but you had some decoding to do over there. So tell me about that. How did you figure it out?
Okay, so basically the question was that we had to make a thematic reflective presentation on this topic. There was no such topic. It was a really vague topic. So what they gave was that you have to depict a memorable journey you had, and not depict exactly, thematic reflective presentation. Like it could be anything, right? You could make an illustration, you could make a painting, probably text. So I knew my strong points, that is sketching, illustrations and stuff. So I chose illustration. I really morphed kind of image of like 4 or 5 scenes of Uttarakhand, that is my hometown. So I just started doing it. I didn't waste a lot of time in thinking what exactly. I just figured it out and I started doing it, and they pretty much liked it.
Yeah, it was incredible. I've seen that work. Yeah, I remember that. That was really cool. Very nicely done.
Yeah. And another thing, a mistake I remember from the exam.
Okay.
So there was a question that they had given us a scene, a line drawing of a kitchen interior. So it was in vertical, like we had to draw it in another sheet that was given on the right side. The scene was on the left side, so we had to just draw it again, nothing like that. So it was a line drawing, no shadows, no depth, nothing. So what I did was that I made it horizontally. A big mistake, but I think they really liked it because I did shading, highlights from the sun coming through the window. So there was a lot of detail put into it. So I guess they figured it out and they spared me for that little mistake.
Okay. Okay. All right. And how was your interview? What did they ask you in the interview?
I was really nervous, but when they started talking to me, they were so friendly and I was not worried at all. So they asked me really general questions, nothing as such that you have to prepare for. They asked me how I learned to draw, and they asked me how much time did the paintings took, because I had displayed them at the back of my room so they could see them. So they didn't ask for my portfolio, but it was kept with me. So they asked me those things, and then they asked me that what do I do, how do I cope up with stress and stuff. So I told them I do some workout and stuff when I'm stressed, so that helps. So they were laughing. They said, "So do we," and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. And one more thing that I told them, they noticed, in fact, that I drew a lot of portraits in my portfolio.
Okay.
They pointed it out. And then they said, can you make one for us right now? So I was really happy because I was praying to God that they asked me that make a portrait, because strong points, you know.
Yeah.
So I made a portrait for her, and under, they gave me time limit of under 40 seconds, I guess.
Wow.
They asked me that draw whatever you can. So I was like just drawing, and they were speaking to me while I was drawing. So it was really tough, but that's the challenge that they wanted to give me. And I guess they were happy with what I made. So yeah.
That's nice. And I think this is the speciality of the jury members, that you put you in certain situations that you have to come up with some solutions or some tasks that you have to finish in the time limit, and then they still keep talking to you during the time. Yeah. Now, once you're in NID, now you have a lot of assignments. You have a lot of things that you're trying to focus on at the same time. How does it feel?
So I was pretty much prepared for it. And what happened was that one day prior to the classes, I was painting a really big canvas. And my dad was like, you should take some rest. There's college tomorrow. Why you like, kal se to karni hi hai, main take rest today. So I was like, oh, I'm trying to prepare myself for the hard work that they're going to make me do. So I was prepared totally that they would make us do a lot of work. So the first week, they gave us the assignment the first day. Every day we had one assignment. And I wanted to give my best because it is said, right, the first impression is the last impression. So
Yeah.
I really wanted to give my best, and I was not able to have lunch and stuff. But that is the fun part, because I think I'm preparing myself for the upcoming challenges in my life. So I'm happy. Like, there's hard work, but it's all good.
That's great. And it's really, there is some sort of satisfaction. I can relate to that, because when I was also in, during my design education, I used to do a lot of work. I used to think, because I switched from engineering to design, I used to generate so much work that I felt, what did I do in my bachelor's? Like, if I could do this much work in one day, I could have done so much in 4 years. But that is the amount of work that you put in. But there is some sense of satisfaction. And what are the topics that they are teaching you right now?
Okay, so the first week was Introduction to Design. It seems like a really good, really nice and fun topic, but it was a lot of hard work, as I told you. And then the second week was Introduction to History of Art. And there were a lot of faculties, and then the faculties are just amazing. They have so much to tell us, and it was an interesting week, the History of Art week. And then it went well. There was one assignment that they gave us for this week, like just one. We had to make a zine, since I'm interested in Hindu mythology as well. So I made one on Goddess Kali, and it was a really big kind of. I made a presentation, and I made a video. I made a few posters and stuff like that. Some sound recordings. So it was fun to do, because I've never done anything like that in my life.
That's very interesting. The way you're telling me about the recordings, the presentations, the video, the posters.
Right.
So it seems like a lot of things are going on.
Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing. And to sum it up, if you have to say top 3 things that the design aspirants who want to get into design, who are preparing for these entrance examinations, top 3 things, what would they be?
Okay, number first, as I have been repeating, draw every day. Just
Mm.
draw everything you see and draw every day. And then the second thing would be that focus on not just drawing what they have asked, but giving even your input to it. Like, what are you making out of that question? Like, it's not just you're answering that question, make something out of it. Like, you got to surprise them as well. The third thing would be that don't presume that why am I reading this or why am I doing this? It won't even come in the exam and stuff like that. So you can be confident only when you're 100% sure of your preparation, right? So
Yeah.
just prepare all the time so you will be confident. And if you will be confident, the paper will be amazing.
Yeah. So throughout your preparation, was there anybody to guide you, to show, okay, this is the way you must go? So did you take any guidance or anybody who could mentor you?
Okay. So what I did was that the first step towards my preparation was by my art teacher in school. So she, after a while, she told me that she thought that I should join a coaching institute.
Mhm.
So I continued with that. In 11th, I joined, like, I guess mid 11th or something like that. At the start, I wasn't that serious, but then my teachers really saw some kind of potential in me. So they really pushed me to work harder. And then by the end, when towards the second round, I was really worried because it was through online media, and everything was a little tough at that time. So I didn't know what they would ask. We were the first timers, right?
Mm.
So, and yeah, even you helped a lot at that time, and with my portfolio and stuff, because I really didn't know a lot about it, about portfolios and anything for that matter of fact, because even in my college there are many people who already know how to animate, who
Mm.
already have experience with software and stuff, and I just do traditional. I have just cleared my 12th, so I really don't know like how to cope with that. But yeah.
Like I said in the beginning itself, that when I saw your work, I said, okay, I'm sure that you're going to get into an ID because your work was good, and more than that, I think it is the ability to understand feedback, to incorporate into the work that you're doing. So, which is
Right.
very important, very important. You'll realize when you move further in your design education, you'll get very honest reviews from your faculties.
Mm.
Once you start going to the campus, because now you're doing it online, right? So you'll get very honest reviews from your faculty members, and they do it for a reason. And whatever they do, they are right because they know stuff. And
Right.
it is very important to know how to take it.
Right.
So that is something I see that you do well. So which is very good, and which is, I think, that's what helped you to, along with all the hard work that you've done. So it was just a cherry on the top. All right. I really thank you for doing this, because there are a lot of students who are a lot confused about how to go about this preparation and all. And once they listen to this conversation, they definitely are going to pick up something or the other for their preparation. So thank you for doing this. And I know you're busy. I know you have a lot of assignments. Thank you. And I'm pretty sure we'll have you again on the show, because I'd really love to talk about what is going on after a few weeks or months. I'll definitely, we can do another session like this, and we can talk about what you're doing at NID.
I'd be happy. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode. I'll see you in the next one.